everyone. I am so excited. I know, that's my favorite word. I just use it all the time, but I am still crazy excited to have my friend Nina Rocco join us on the My WHIM Life show to share a little bit about all of her adventures. I know that COVID did play a role in the transition of her business, but it was definitely already coming. She's been working on things for a really long time, and if you aren't following her, you definitely should be. So, welcome, Nina.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who you are?
Yeah. So my name is Nina Rocco. I am a health and fitness coach, and I used to actually have a studio, like you were saying, in Meridian, Idaho. I did one-on-one personal training. I've been doing this since 2012 with Rock Body. And so it's been amazing. But unfortunately, due to COVID, we actually kind of pivoted and went in a different direction. The online thing is just exploding nowadays. And so I wanted to kind of, touch base with more people than just in Boise or Meridian, Idaho. So it's been awesome these last, what has it been, 6 months since COVID?
I know, right?
Isn't that crazy? Like, I feel like it's flown by, but really, which is kind of weird. But it's been awesome. The last 6 months have been great. We've been able to help people all across the country with fat loss and their fitness goals. And I mostly work with women. And kind of how I started this is my ex-husband and I were prior Air Force. And I used to do accounting for years for the military. And it was great. I loved my job, but I was a numbers gal. It wasn't anything close to this at all. And so what I did is I actually started kind of working out, going on base, working out on base, people asking me questions. We hosted a couple of PT mornings where I was the PT leader for the squadron. So I was like, I kind of dig this. And this is back in 2009, 2008. So since then, this has just kind of grown to blossom into Rock Body Fitness and helping women and men, but mostly women across the United States now. So it's been really fun.
That is awesome. Tell me a little bit about your home life, your family.
So I have a longtime boyfriend and a kiddo that I pretty much, account for my own. But he's 9, and we've been together since Gio was about 3 years old. So we live in Meridian and just moved into a new home last 4 months, which has been awesome since we closed the gym. And now I actually coach out of my house a couple of days a week and then do the rest online with people. But home life is awesome. He actually works for Nutrition to Go supplementation. So he's kind of in the fitness realm too. So it's nice to be able to kind of share that with your other half.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely don't always get that. Sometimes it's, completely different, like me and Shane. He is an infrastructure engineer, and I'm not even sure that I could accurately describe what that is. And then I'm not even sure exactly what all I do, but today I'm the host of this show. So very different from engineering. I love it. So tell me a little bit about what your program looks like online. What are you focused on?
Right now we have 2 programs that are out at the moment. We have a 21-day challenge that we've been running. We typically run them every spring and fall, usually around the times when we need most help, right? Because winter, holiday season, and then summers, we're kind of having fun and spending time with family and friends. So typically we run them around the fall and spring, New Year, and it's pretty much a 21-day challenge to kind of clean up your eating, eat wholesome, get moving, get the metabolism revving from all the drinking and eating we've been doing during the holidays or summertime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get your body back, kind of get you bump started. And then we also do a 90-day custom coaching program where we have workouts, weight training. I teach you all the ins and outs of macronutrients, carbs, fats, how to work out, what the difference between, running and weight training is. And we customize this for clients. So we do Zoom calls or Skype calls one-on-one, get them set up with food, get them set up with like a meal plan if they need it. And going in a different, a good direction to where they can kind of take off with their training. And we've had awesome success with it this few months. Yeah. So it's been really great. And it's like, I can almost like right now I'm like, I can't keep up with how much it's exploding. So it's been really, really cool. And it's been awesome to be able to help others outside of the state, like I said, because I think here in Boise and Meridian, we're kind of like a healthy city.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've kind of seen that, but
yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, we have trainers everywhere, tons of gyms. Everyone's outside riding their bikes, hiking, biking, all that stuff. So it's nice to be able to kind of like branch out outside of the state and help others. And then we have a little community where we kind of all come together and support each other. So it's been really, really cool.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Boise just has a plethora of outdoor activities. It doesn't matter. Like in the winter, you can go skiing in the mountains within an hour's drive, and in the summer, you can go skiing in Lake Lowell in less than an hour's drive. You can pretty much do just about anything year round, and there's so many hiking trails and biking trails. It's just we live in such a unique place, and you forget sometimes that people don't have immediate access to some of those free nature resources. So, getting out of just the initial valley is probably pretty powerful opportunity for change.
Oh yeah, it's been great. And I think too, is, we got people in cities and all this stuff, and yet they might have gyms or something, in the area, but I think we're very much blessed in an area where we can kind of like get outside and, live healthy and have a healthy lifestyle. And I mean, look at you and I mean, we kind of met through a trainer, right? And so I think it's just like, it's really unique what we have here. So it's kind of cool, but it's fun to be able to kind of get out of that too,
Yeah, totally. Totally. So as an entrepreneur that has owned your own gym, so you know what that box and the overhead and all of that, and then transition into an online space, which is a whole different ball game for sure. Like, what has been some of the most powerful habits that you have developed over the years to make sure that you stay on task and that you're moving forward all the time?
Oh man, is it like, do we have enough time?
I know, right?
Right. I think the biggest thing was, owning a gym, you get up in the morning, you get ready, and you like go to the gym, you train your clients, and it's very straightforward, right? But when you're online, you have to be multiple places at once. You're constantly like, not only are you the creator, the trainer, the person that's meeting with people, you're, all of these things like doing content creation. There's so much to it. So I think the biggest thing, and I'll show you right here, is this calendar. Like, it keeps me on track, and you're gonna make fun of me because I'm totally old school, but like this thing is from Monday through Saturday from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So every single hour on the hour, I know exactly like what I'm doing, where I'm supposed to be, like who am I meeting with, right? What content I'm supposed to be creating, all these things. So, so I think really like sitting down, my biggest thing has been sitting down for half an hour each week before the week starts and really like planning out, okay, plan of attack. What does my schedule look like this week? How am I going to fit my time in, right? Our workouts, right? You probably do the same thing. And around everything else, like taking the kiddo to school and, going grocery shopping and meeting with clients and all these things. So I think really like either, whether it be on your phone, on a calendar, like really mapping out your week and figuring out, okay, what do I have to do? Where do I have to be? And who do I have to meet with?
Yeah.
And fitting you time in there too, because that's really important, is taking care of us. Because if I'm not taking care of myself, then I don't feel very good. And it's hard for me to take care of others when I don't feel good, So that's been the biggest thing, is like organization.
Yeah, organization and planning, I know, at least for me too, like it is critical. I live by my calendar. I have specific time, not only for meeting with people, but I have specific time that I have designated to reading and educating myself. I've got designated time for writing new content, because we're not just, like, you're not just a trainer. You are a content creator, you're a marketer, like you have so many different hats that you need to wear, that all of that stuff requires time. And if you're just training clients, then your content lags. Or if you're just creating content, then you're not creating, new transformation for clients. All of that stuff requires some kind of scheduling so you can stay in balance.
Totally.
And then self-care is critical. It's so important.
Yes. I know sometimes I look back and I'm like, I don't know how I just got through that week. Like, I know you probably feel the same way. You're like, my assistant's going to kill me if I don't do it this way. Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, but having someone to be like, hey, did you get this done? Like an assistant or someone to help you along the way, because you can't do it all yourself.
Right. Yeah. I think that's such a misnomer. I remember when I was reading Rachel Hollis's book, and the first time that she acknowledged to the community that she didn't do it alone, and she was kind of lynched for it, especially because she had a nanny and things like that. But I totally can't imagine doing this by myself. There's just no way. There are too many moving parts. I will lose my mind.
Yeah. Well, and I think as women too, and I'm sure a lot of other women can relate, is I feel like we wear more hats than men. And it's not to say like men don't do a lot, but I think we take on the role of like the nurturer, the taking care of the family, the cooking, the cleaning, on top of work, on top of you time, on top of like all this stuff. And sometimes we can lose sight of ourselves in that. And so I think it's important to really like kind of sit down and work you into the schedule, just like everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of self-care, what is one of your favorite self-care rejuvenators?
Oh my gosh. So, it's funny. I was going over accounting stuff with my bookkeeper, my CPA, and I was like, man, I really just don't spend a lot of money on myself. And the only thing I actually really do for me is, I think as women, we get our hair done, right? And we get our nails done or whatever. But my biggest thing is going and getting massages on a regular, and whether it be like once a month or once every couple months, but taking a half a day and going to relax, go sit in a sauna, treat yourself just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like this weekend, I have half a Saturday blocked out after my kiddos' football game. And so I'm like, we're going to the spa, we're going to get massages, we're going to eat dinner, a good dinner, we'll cheat a little bit and then we'll go home and watch a movie. And I think that sometimes like to be able to like check out and just shut everything off, and take care of you is really, really important, especially like nowadays with everything going on. It can be, mentally exhausting at times.
Yeah, for sure. And especially, I know I work from home and I know you work from home. Like we're literally in the same space all the time, and you can start to go a little bonkers in those four walls.
Totally. And then, our escape is kind of connecting with people online and text message and stuff, and that can get exhausting too.
Yeah. You're like, I just want to hug a person.
Yeah.
A real live person.
It's so true. It's so true. Yep. So
I
I
love
think
it.
it's important to take that time for you, and it's okay to do so. So often we feel guilty for doing it, and we shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, we deserve that. If anything, we probably deserve more of it, right?
Yeah. Most of us give ourselves less self-care than we probably need.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. I see that super common.
All right. So, what are some of the non negotiables? Obviously, self care is one, but what are some of the other non negotiables, whether that be in your business life or in your personal life, that you're like, absolutely, this is, I, I have to have this in my life in order to function?
My Sundays, I think. So like Sundays, I actually work Monday through Saturday typically. But my Sundays are kind of like my day. Like I don't answer text messages on Sundays. You know, I try to stay offline as much as possible. I try to stay away from my like office as much as possible on Sundays, right? Because I know you probably feel the same way. You kind of get like, I'm just gonna check this one email, you know?
Just this one.
Yeah. And so my Sundays are like kind of my like I have to like peel myself away, rest, sleep in if I need to, right? Grocery shop if I need to, you know, plan my week out as far as my food goes. That's kind of my non-negotiable. And not loading my weekends up. I used to do that a lot where you would commit to like multiple things and people, and then come time you would be like, I just don't want to do any of this. Like I want to crawl in, you know, my bed and just come, you know, hide from the world sometimes because it can be like a lot. So
Yeah.
I think that's like one of my non-negotiables is one day a week taking that time for me. And I encourage my clients and especially others to do so because I think it's so important to do that and just give your brain a rest and give yourself some grace every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Do you ever feel like, because I know, you're pretty outgoing, I'm pretty outgoing, but do you ever feel like you have a piece of you that is totally introvert and you're like, don't talk to me. No one talk to me for like 2 hours because I need to reprogram or something.
Yeah, because I think it's so much energy, you know, and you and I have like, we have a lot of energy, right? We're always like, hey, how are you doing? You know, a lot of people are like, I don't know, is that really how you are? Right? And I'm like,
You're like, every day.
yeah, I'm like, every day, yes, it is. Now, if I'm home with my other half, we're like, you know, it's kind of crickets in the house. We'll chit chat or whatever, but we have those quiet times, you know, to where you're like, okay, I just want to be an introvert for once.
Yes.
So I think we're naturally like extroverts, but you can only like dish out so much energy before you have to kind of like fill that cup back up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So how do you get up every day, do the things you need to do, and really stay motivated and focused on your goals looking ahead?
I think my clients motivate me more than anything, to be honest with you, you know, and keeping up with them because I can't be like, oh, you need to do this, you know, and then I'm not doing it. So I think just being a role model for them motivates me and keeps me going. And I think the kiddo too, because when he looks at you and is like, oh my gosh, like, you know, they start to mimic what you do and they look up to you. And I think for me, I had a little bit of a hard childhood. And so my dad wasn't around. My stepdad was alcoholic, drugs, a lot of stuff like that. So for me as an adult now and as a step parent, it's very important for me to teach Giovanni like how to work hard, how to take care of yourself, you know, how to be nice to yourself, you know, how to talk to yourself, how to stay on track, how to eat good. So I think that's a big motivation too, because I want him to grow up and be like, you know, my stepmom was like, she was on it, man, you know, or, you know, I look up to her. I want to be that person one day. And, you know, I built my company and this life that we have, which, you know, isn't anything like fancy, right? But I have a great life and it's been a tough road, But I look back and I'm like, wow, like all of that happened. Like I went through that, I got through it, I did it, I conquered it. And, you keep pushing forward. And I think my past has a lot to do with motivating me, because I don't ever want to ever go back there.
Yeah.
For
sure. I know exactly what I don't want based on what I've already experienced. And I am willing to do whatever that takes to make sure that I don't go back that direction. I've told this story before, and I'm sure I'll tell it a million more times, but it was such a motivating moment in my life. I was standing with my infant and my 6-year-old in the grocery store, and I had a bag of coins that I needed to go to the coin star and change in so that I could buy groceries that week. And so I was so humbled in that moment, and so like if I ever get out of this place, I don't ever want to go back. And it was I just kept looking at my kids, and the coins are going, and people are looking at me from the cash registers because it's right there. And then I get home and go to take off my clothes to take a shower because it was chore day. So I was just wearing sweats and an old t-shirt, and I pulled off my t-shirt. It was an old one of my husband's, and it said, "Will work for sex."
It hit you.
I was like, I am at the absolute bottom right now. Like there has got to be a way up from here for sure. And I literally feel like that day changed everything. I remember going and getting a different job. Within weeks of that, I had changed jobs. Which totally led me to exactly where I'm at right now. But those defining moments are so powerful in changing the path that we take, whether, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. I've seen people go the other direction.
Yeah.
But it's powerful.
Yeah. And so often I think there's a lot more people that go through that than don't, and like you just telling that story kind of made me like tear up a little bit, because I've been there, like you've been at the bottom of the bottom, and you're like, how am I going to get through this week? Like, how am I going to buy groceries? Or how am I going to, have gas to get to my job? Right.
Yeah.
And those moments are like what fuels us and pushes us forward. So you either like break down from that or you build up.
Yeah, right? For sure.
So awesome. I think that's great, because that right there, like, people are inspired by that. They like to see that heroes to journeys, like that path, right? Yeah. And it's amazing, and you blossom, and look at you.
Yeah. So much good stuff. So much good stuff came out of the hardest times of my entire life.
Totally. Yeah. And learn to embrace those. And I think we need to teach our kids that too, because so often we think like failures or stuff we lack in is a bad thing. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think we can really take those and help make those experiences like motivate us to get to where we want to be and teach us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's really easy, especially from a parental standpoint, to want to save them from hard stuff. But I have definitely witnessed in actually doing that with my kids that just is a bad idea. Yeah. They never understand if they don't suffer the consequences.
Well, they have to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. We did.
Yeah.
We turned out okay.
Absolutely. I mean, we're good, right?
Good. Yeah. Awesome. So if you were going to give a starting entrepreneur one piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh, learn from your failures for sure. Because I think we have more downs than we do ups, really, as entrepreneurs.
I agree.
And it hit me last week, like we killed the week, we ended, and we were rocking it. And I was like so excited on this Friday, right? And I'm bragging to Sean. And then the next day you kind of get like hit with a little email whammy and you're like, you know, like that. I was just on that high and now I'm like down here again. But, you know, I think before I used to like let that get to me and be like, oh God, you know, like and you kind of dwell in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it was funny, last week I was like, meh. You're like, that's okay, moving on. Like, I'm not worried about it. And so I think those things, like I actually stopped myself for a second and I was like, wow, I'm kind of proud of myself. Like I didn't let that get to me at all. And you just move on. And I think so often we kind of wallow in that negativity because it can be consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of doing that, just learn from it and be like, okay, because, you know, it was my mistake. And so I was like, okay, next time I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm going to do this instead. And you just implement those. But I think that's how we learn. That's how we get to be good entrepreneurs or good leaders or whatever it may be. And not taking them as a bad thing, because they're not a bad thing at all. I mean, I think they're one of the most positive things that we can experience in business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what is the best way to reach you if someone wants to check out all the Nina Rocco goodness?
Oh, I love it. They can get a hold of me on Facebook. So just Nina, Nina Rocco, or they can go to rockbodyfitness.com, ROCC, Body Fitness.
Awesome. And we will definitely make sure to share those links in the show notes so everybody can easily access them.
Thank you.
Yes. For my last question, I want to know, how do you give back?
Oh my gosh. You know, it's funny. We were actually thinking, just with a lot of the fires and stuff going on, about kind of raising money for that. But I think this is one thing that I can get better at, is giving back to others. You know, I feel like we take care of our clients a lot, and I feel like I give back in that, just being a coach. But spending time outside of work, or, you know, going to a client's house or helping someone that can't afford training, that's like, hey, I just need a little guidance, or anything like that, I'm always willing to help with people. You know, I have all kinds of people that reach out and they're like, hey, you know, I don't think I can afford you, but, you know, and I'm like, absolutely, I'd love to chat with you. Because I think it's important to not, we're business owners and we got to make money for what we do, but we also have to be human, you know. And there was one time, you know, multiple times in my life where I couldn't afford a lot of things and I needed help. And especially too, as young people, I think that's important. Like we're training a girl right now. She's a high school student and she's wanting to, you know, be a health and fitness coach too. And she doesn't know what direction she wants to go in, but, you know, we're almost like interning her a little bit.
Yeah, we're like, come on, little bird.
Yes.
Come under my wing.
Yes, exactly. So, and she's, you know, she was the one that reached out. She's like, I'd love to learn, but I can't afford it. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't even worry about it. Come over, you know? And so I think that's just to give back to other people and just to be human and be like, you know, I've been at that spot to where I couldn't afford things, but I had people that guided me to be where I'm at. So to be able to give back to others in that way, I think is really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me on the My WHIM Life show. It has been a true pleasure. I absolutely adore you and keep up with you all the time on social media, because your little what are they, Facebook stories are hysterical and so funny.
I'm glad you think so. I think it's important for us to smile and laugh at ourselves every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love that you are genuinely you.
Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate it. It's been awesome.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye, love.
Mwah. Thank you so much for tuning in to the My WHIM Life show today. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a moment of the goodness.